Yo, what's up there, guys? My name is Zojolix. Welcome back to the Star Wars The Force Unleashed 2 80% tutorial playlist. If you haven't watched the last two videos, I recommend going and checking those out. Those are going to be videos that will show you guys the movement as well as preventing the crashes in the game. So now we're going to actually get into the run itself. I'm going to do some quality of life adjustments here. I like to turn my vibration off as well as turn down some of my audio. You don't have to do that. That's all just personal preference. Yeah, so we're gonna go ahead and get this run started. It's we're gonna be covering each level by level, but I'll be uploading it all together so that way it'll all just be published and ready to go for each and every single one of you guys to do. So without further ado, we're going to go ahead and get started here in, well, the timing will start when you select easy. You can play on other difficulties, but they don't matter, so don't worry about it. Just play on easy, it's the fastest, and yeah. So in 3, 2, 1, go. This is when your timer would start. So first off, in this level, you're going to have a tutorial section. In this tutorial section, everything works by threes. So all that you really have to do in order to do this quickly is oh, that guy didn't actually die. I just dash over and kill each of these different guys, and then I dash back over here, so that way when enemies spawn, I can just force push them. One thing you need to be careful of is you don't want to attack Juno, because if you attack Juno, this will happen, and you'll lose a few seconds. But just do what the game tells you to, and that will set you up pretty well.
Wait! Don't.
Juno?
Yes.
Strike her down. I can't! You will!
So, this is a cutscene that's in-engine. This is not considered one of the cutscenes that we removed. So, this is one that we just have to deal with. But after this, we will be going into a falling section. And the falling section, if you play the game casually, which I recommend you do before you start to speedrun this game,
the accelerated cloning process is still imperfect.
You know, you would probably think about it as pretty straightforward, and it really is, honestly.
I believed
it's really simple.
But it seems you want to
And for this one, all you're gonna have to do is just be mashing your dash button, which for me, as you can see on the input display, since I run with the PS5 controller, is L1. So we'll just be basically mashing it the whole time. There's some instances, however, though, where you don't actually want to mash it. And the reason for that is because when you are at the end of every single one of your dashes, you're vulnerable. And so, if you're dashing and you hit that vulnerability threshold, you can take damage, and that'll end up being really, really slow. So like there I got hit with lightning, so I ended up losing like a tad bit of time, and then I got hit by a few TIE fighters, which really sucked. Wow, I almost died there. But we made it through, and we're fine. Luckily with this game, if you kill enemies, you gain health. So yeah, this first group of enemies here, all I do is I go up and I do an X, Y, or square triangle. I always come over here because sometimes an enemy can get stuck on that corner, so I always like to go and check that. But that's really all that there is for that section. Really fast. So here we have our first trick of the game. There's a cutscene that we're going to be hitting, and we want to skip it. So in order to skip it, you're going to dash over. We're going to kill these guys just to get them out of the way. And there's this little thing right here. If you come over onto it, so I'll kind of show you guys how I set it up. What I do is I come over here, I just kind of go back to my regular dodge, and then I do 2 dashes and I jump over. That skips this cutscene trigger that's here. I'll just go and I'll hit it so you guys can see it. But this is a cutscene. It's actually pretty decently long. And so by skipping it, we save a lot of time there. So this next part, there's a couple ways you can do it. I recommend, because it's the way that even I still do it, just because it's really difficult, just kill these guys for the shield to go down. Another thing you can do, and I do not recommend this personally because the setup is kind of difficult to do, but if you come over here, you break that screen, you jump up onto this thing. As you can see, the setup's a little whack. And if you do what's called a long jump, which is where you dash, jump, and then dash and blast, you can actually dash around and hit this checkpoint. It's really difficult, so I don't totally recommend it, but if you want to go for it, go for it. So our next trick that we have coming up here is this is our grip tutorial. Normally the game wants you to pull this platform out, and once you pull it out, you can cross. Well, we can actually skip this platform. So what you do is, all you need to do, it's pretty simple. The setup and the timing for when you need to jump is a little bit finicky, and it'll take you a few tries to get it, but once you understand the feeling for it, it'll work. So you just need to run up, see, and even I still screw the timing up. But you just run up, do a delayed double jump, and dash and blast over. Really, it's like, the concept of it is pretty simple. The struggle is you don't want to start your jump too early, otherwise you end up not making the jump. I did a backup there just because my reflexes kicked in. So it'll look, as you can see, if I don't do it right, you slide down. If you notice that you're not going to get it, what I recommend that you do is, so like here, I won't get it, do a 3-strike, oh, I messed up. Oh well. So, go over here, do a 3-strike combo, that will slightly raise your elevation and allow you to jump onto this platform and still skip it. It's still faster than pulling this platform out. You don't have to do it, it only really saves like a second or two, so you can even pull this out just slightly and then jump like over here and go for it if you aren't able to get this. So now you just dash over here, and then for these guys, just pick them up with force grip and throw them off the ledge. So one thing I'm going to explain about the movement in this game is, well, next group of enemies here, and then I'll explain this about the movement. It's that simple. Throw them, lightning slash, you're good. So one thing I'm going to explain about the movement is there are so many different ways to tackle a specific situation in terms of movement that can still be fast. So even in those moments where you aren't necessarily sure what to do, just kind of mess around with it. Mess around with some of the little bits and pieces of movement that are in the game and just see what you can come up with. Because I can guarantee you there are 100 different ways to do something that's still fast. Alright, so we're going to keep going. And right now, there's nothing really interesting. We're just going to be going through... I like to just use dash and blast to cut corners. You don't have to, but again, you can. It's just like, that's the thing that just I do. I almost fell there. Again, more enemies to kill. If they're the riot troopers, just pick them up and throw them. If they're not riot troopers, you can stab them. So here are these fans. There's a couple of ways to do these fans. The way that most people do it is we just stop it, because all it is that. You can skip it, however. If you break this glass and then you do a long jump around here, you can skip it. I think you can skip this one over here too, but I think it's a lot more difficult. We're just going to give it a try. I think I went into the fan accidentally. Maybe you can't skip that one. Oh well. But just stop it, keep going. So there's another trick coming up here that we have to do fast, and I'm only going to have one attempt at it. So what we're going to do is we're going to drop down, there's going to be these boxes. And what you want to do is you want to dash down, dash, force grip it into the screen. If you get a good grip, then you can actually break the screens in one throw. I have, for some reason, have not been able to do it in, like, ever. But you are able to do that. It's super cool. Nice little small time save there. It's really fast. You'll want to grab this holocron. This is an experience holocron. We will need it for our upgrades later on in the run. So, we're coming up onto our first major skip of the run. This is the biggest, one of the biggest skips.
No regrets.
So, how this skip works is down there is a bunch of fights that we have to do. And the game's trying to force us to go down by having that turret. That turret doesn't actually affect us. So what we do is if we dash over here, you can do a same dash, oops. And if you mess it up, all you gotta do, reload the checkpoint. It's really easy. And since we have a loader mover, it's only like a few seconds, at least, it's only like a few seconds lost in any percent now because of a newer trick. But, so you want to dash over here, and then you'll jump while the turret is firing and land on it. Once you land on it, you just kind of want to jump across. There is an invisible wall that you can land on. It's really difficult, but it is there. So once you get here, you'll notice that there's all these shields. This game has a mechanic that I call damage boosting, and it's basically you're going to ram yourself into the shield and then mash jump in order to get your jump back. So you kind of see me do it here. And so now what you can do is then traverse across and get over the shield, even though you're not supposed to. Here's another screen. We can just go and blow it up. So here's where I'm going to recommend some slight differences if you're a beginner versus a more seasoned player. If you're a beginner, I recommend you come over here at this part, go right up here to this section, stand on this little bulb, do a double jump, and then do a 3-strike combo. This will put you up here. Jump across, grab that holocron, which in an actual run that won't trigger that tutorial, and then proceed normally. The reason why that I do that is because the trick that I'm going to be showing off here is really, really, really difficult. And, well, I won't say really, really, really difficult. It's pretty hard. And it can be really punishing. And so, like, in terms of top any percent runs right now, this is a huge reset point because of what we have to do. So what you want to do is you want to dash over to this set of boxes, jump on the boxes, double jump, and 3-strike combo onto this gunship. This will then carry you out of bounds. It has to be that fast. I wish I could do it and slow it down for you, but it has to be that fast. And you have to try and make sure you don't get flung off. And then when you see this part where the building breaks, you're going to double jump and dash over, hit the checkpoint, and then just walk off. If you walk off, see, and there I didn't even do it right. You need to walk off at a very specific point. I don't know where that point is, and that point is really, really finicky. If you're able to hit that point, you can skip this whole section of TIE fighters, of having to throw the TIE fighters. But since it's an uber finicky section and in a super precise position to be able to get that skip, I wasn't able to get it. So we're just going to have to throw the TIE fighters. You'll know when you get it because that cutscene won't play, and you'll just be standing on the platform and the pillar will be down. So we're just going to throw these guys. After 3, you can just immediately exit and reload. That will skip the cutscene of the pillar falling, as well as it will just pause your timer, so it's faster. And then you can dash over here. If you did get TIE Fighter skip, as I call it, this right here will be what your screen will look like. You'll see this, and these ATSDs won't be here. Because the game does this thing where if you go so fast, the game won't actually spawn all of your enemies. So when you get to this point with these ATSDs, you want to come across, and then you'll hit a checkpoint here. Just reload this checkpoint. That way, you'll be right here. All of your ATSDs will be there, and otherwise your game will be soft locked. And you don't want, obviously, you don't want your game to be soft locked. And here you just have the Force Raid tutorial. And you just need to use Force Lightning to kill things quickly, and that will end the level. It's really fast. So, yeah, that's going to be the end for the return for Escape. I know we haven't quite hit the end of the level yet, but all we need to do is just kill these enemies. And we're done. So, we're good here. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope this was a very beneficial video and helping you guys learn the different tricks. If you have any questions, I will put a link down to the Force Unleashed 2 speedrunning Discord below. You guys are awesome, and I will see you all in the next video.